The steeplechase at the Olympic trials definitely wasn't a goal 8 years ago.
Her senior year was great and heartbreaking at the same time because she accomplished so much at the conference level and then was the first one out of the national championships. And I think that really made her driven to do something more beyond, because she knew she was had more in the tank and she knew she wasn't quite done with what she was doing. And so we had to really look at what the next step was, what event to go to. We decided to try to take a bump up to the steeplechase and check that out, and it turned out to be a pretty good fit.
Honestly, like 3,000 meters doesn't seem that long in comparison to like the 5K or the 10K, so it's definitely better for me in that aspect because I still have foot speed from training for the 8 and the 15 throughout college, and then but being in the 3K where there's a lot of distance runners also running it, I think I have a little bit of an advantage over some of the 5K, 10K girls that drop down to run the steeplechase.
You know, as a coach, you're always trying to get better every single year, and so Alex has really challenged me as a coach to continue to come up with more workouts that challenge her, because I've never had anyone run this fast, and so she's constantly challenging me as a coach too to just kind of find more things for her to do to make her better every single day. It's
really been just a great experience sticking around UNI and being able to stick with my coach, and I'm really glad I decided to stay here, and so it's made the transition from collegiate to post-collegiate a lot easier than it would have been if I would have moved farther away. One
of the greatest things she's had over the last 3 years is just her consistency with everything, and so she's been consistently good for quite a while now, and so she hasn't really had a rough patch in there, and so that's exciting to me, because when you build that consistency with training and racing, it really sets you up to have a really big jump from where you're at right now. And so with what her training has been like the last 3 weeks, I'm really excited to see what she can do here the last couple weeks of the season.
Definitely having Coover around has been really great because he's been doing this for a while, and so I'm able to get advice from him, and he's helped me with a lot of stuff.
I mean, he's a journeyman. I mean, he's been, you know, pole vaulting post-collegiate now for a while, and that's a hard thing to do. You know, you can do it for a year or two, but to get consistent with it and continue to put yourself in a good situation. And so, you know, it's great for all of our athletes to see kind of what it takes internally if you want to make that next step, what that's gonna entail.
So I went to Indiana University and did 5 years there, and was a 4-time All-American. Jumped 18-1 at IU and was a Big Ten champion. And then after college, I moved here. I always knew that Northern Iowa had a rich tradition of pole vaulting excellence.
So the fact that now these kids on our team can look at what you can do if you put your mind and your body and your soul into what you're doing, you can accomplish some really good things, and that's huge for those kids to see that in motion and just have those experiences right at their fingertips to witness.
I've been fortunate to place well in important meets that have prize money and stuff over the last few years. I've somehow been able to just get lucky enough to always sort of put it together at least enough to come home with a little money, but it's definitely not enough to pay all the bills. So having a side job is tough, but I'm fortunate that my boss is really lenient with my schedule, and a lot of times I'll get into a meet, my agent will call me and say, you got into a meet in 4 days, you need to leave, here's your ticket, and I need to call my boss and say, hey, I'm out of here. And he's been really amazing with that and being flexible with my schedule. There's not been a time in the last 6, 7, 8 years, whatever, that I've, like you said, that I've eaten something and not thought about the, you know, what's going into my body. I try to eat for fuel. If I have to travel, I make sure that the travel fits around training. It's really challenging. I mean, it seems like I know a lot of people think that it seems like an easy thing and you're following your dreams and you're chasing this goal that's, you know, everybody kind of wishes they could chase, but yeah, it's definitely not an easy thing day to day when you start embodying it and living it and doing all the little things that you really need to do to make it as an Olympian. I mean, when I look at Olympians, they do all the small things, and that's what I'm trying to do, and it's not always easy, but it's definitely rewarding.